This will be talking about the cover car of Forza Horizon 6, what we can expect to see, a few different options that may have been leaked and discussed by developers, and how this is all going to be intertwined with the end location of Forza Horizon 6. Now, I initially made a video like this quite a few months ago, and since then a little bit of more information has come out. The community has generally also had a bit of a change consensus as to what they're looking for, so I figured I'd go in and make an updated video with the updated respective information. Now, right before we get into it, you guys might have gone and see I've got a billion super wheel spins, a billion credits and more. If you guys want to check that, go in and see the pinned comment if you want to learn more. Instant delivery, 15,000 plus Trustpilot reviews and more. It might go and interest you, whether it's Horizon 5 or even Horizon 6 later down the line, to have it ready in your back pocket. So guys, let's go and get started with exactly what kind of cover cars we could expect. Now, one variable to consider is it's very, of course, relevant as to where the location will be and what the cover car will look like. Now, whilst it doesn't happen for every single Forza game, it's definitely been some kind of underlying trend where there's a relationship between where the game is based and, of course, the manufacturer of the car that makes the cover car itself. For instance, we saw Forza Horizon 4 was McLaren when the game was based in UK, and of course McLaren itself was based in UK. Like I said though, we haven't seen this for all games, in fact less than we have seen it for more games, so it's just something to consider, but not necessarily too indicative of what we could see for Horizon 6. Like for example, Mexico had Mercedes-Benz or the AMG 1, where we of course know that Mercedes is not a Mexican manufacturer, but maybe there would be a relationship. For instance, one of the top contenders where Forza Horizon 6 is looking to be based will of course be Germany. Now if we were to see a game in Germany, they probably would go ahead and use a German manufacturer car, and out of those cars they could choose from, it'll probably be a car that's not already in the game. It'd take away a little bit of a hype for the existing player base if you saw Horizon 6 announce, the huge Horizon 6, multiple years in the bank, the biggest release, most hyped release of the entire Forza franchise, or at least will turn out to be as such, and the cover car's again a car you've already been driving around Horizon 5 for 2 years. It'd definitely take a little bit of hype or blow away from the huge update. So an example like this is a car like the Porsche 911 GT3 RS 992. This would be a very good option of a car to be released as a cover car if the game were to be in Germany. However, given the fact we've already got the car in the game, it's probably less likely we'd see as a cover car. Same with the Apollo IE. Apollo, of course, being a German manufacturer, this would be a very good option of a car, but it's probably not so likely. In terms of more likely options we could see that are yet to be released in real life in Germany, we have cars like the McLaren W1. Crazy car, we see McLaren have a close relationship with Forza. Some would argue that whilst the McLaren Senna was previously the cover car of Horizon 4, maybe they wouldn't do another McLaren. I'd say it really is circumstantial. They definitely could. I mean, it's a different kind of McLaren. It's still a crazy hypercar. They certainly could. But if they weren't to do so, other cars could be ones like the Porsche Mission X. This would be a good version. It's like an updated version of the Porsche 918. And like I said, of course, as German, it will perfectly fit with the game demographic in that location. And another car could even be the Apollo Arrow, a very cool car. The Apollo IE was a great contender. And the Apollo IE is very relevant for other reasons. For example, if you guys want to see the Japanese game car cover example, I've shown this on many different thumbnails. Many people have used this as a reference point. It was pretty much like a fan-made, or at least developer-made draft of what Horizon 6 could look like if it were to be based in Japan, which is still yet to be determined with full certainty. And it was, of course, the Apollo IE with Mount Fuji in the back, a very cool photo. Obviously, it wasn't a fully made game cover because it had things like Xbox One exclusive, which obviously it won't be. It'll be a new gen exclusive and might even have PS5. But the Apollo IE was the game cover car of this actual variation, this design that was made, which made some people suspect that maybe that is the car cover for Horizon 6, even if it isn't going to be in Japan. Now, if they were to do the Apollo IE, I think it's a great car to use. It's probably not as widely recognized as the GT3 RS 992, so they could probably get away with it being in the game already. And just quickly, most of you watching this video right now are not subscribed to the channel, so if you want to help us hit 150k and stay up to date with the best Forza glitches, content, news, and more, be sure to tap that button. It really helps out a lot. But when you have options like the Apollo Arrow, a new version, also a pretty equally as cool car, and of course a hypercar in itself, that'd probably be a safer bet. A new car, keep everyone interested, and don't have everyone disappointed that we're effectively using a recycled car as the cover. So whether it's going to be in Japan, whether it's going to be in Germany, those are different options. If it were to be based in Japan, there probably aren't too many JDM cars up to scratch, just generally out of a fact. Forza it's very, very likely they're going to show like a supercar or a hypercar. That's what the trend has been. I mean, we've got cars like the Mercedes AMG 1, McLaren Senna, Lamborghini Huracan. It's probably not going to be a car like a Honda or a Toyota. It could be one like a Nissan GTR. There could be a Nismo, for instance. But in my opinion, it's just not enough of a abrasive car that would make sense as a cover car in itself. So if it were to be Germany, maybe it would be a Japanese car, but I think it really could be anything at that point. Maybe it would be the Ferrari SF90 XX, for instance, because it's not necessarily related to Japan, but would still have the punch factor or the punch power needed to make everyone look at that cover car title and go, wow. Whereas if it's something like a Nissan or a Honda, it just won't have that effect, even though there, of course, is that huge contingent of the populace that loves those cars in Japan and the JDM community. They're also always going to be approaching or trying to accommodate to that larger overall demographic in their player base, which most of them really are just looking for Lamborghinis, Ferraris, hypercars, Bugatti, etc. That's something to keep in mind and definitely relevant to consider. Now, similarly, if we were to see the game end up being in somewhere a bit more ambiguous, like Brazil, Dubai, which I've been concept to even discuss, even China at one stage was discussed as a possibility, which is certainly still possible. I mean, something to keep in mind that a lot of people often overlooked is the fact that Forza Horizon 5, so many people were sure would come out in a certain location, whether it's Japan, here, there, etc., and it ended up being Mexico, which pretty much no one saw coming till a month out. So it's always possible. We can't get too certain or too clinged or hanging on to the idea that it'll be Germany or Japan. It's very possible it could be something completely out of the blue like Brazil. And if it were to be Brazil, China, Dubai, these countries similarly either don't really have many local manufacturers, or the local manufacturers that could produce a car to be the cover car, similarly to Japan, wouldn't be a car great enough to be the cover. For instance, we're probably not going to see a car like an MG or a BYD as the cover car of Forza Horizon 6. That simply just wouldn't make sense. So in this case, if it were to be one of those more ambiguous or unexpected locations that doesn't have their own local car manufacturing scene, we'd expect to see an external car used like a Ferrari, whatever it may be, something random simply to show the actual game itself, just like we saw with Mexico. Exact same concept. And if it were to be in something like Italy, for instance, which I think is unlikely, we've seen Italy in Forza Horizon 2 as a part of France in that game, it of course would have to be something like a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, etc. So I guess I hope this helps set expectations as what we can kind of look forward to when it comes to a cover car, depending on where the game may be based. And you guys can let me know what you think down below. What kind of cover car you think would be good for these locations? If it's going to be in Japan, what cover car would you want to see? Do you disagree with me? Do you think it would be a Japanese car? If so, let me know down below, guys. Like and subscribe for more. So I have some pretty big news in Horizon 6 right around the corner.